I think many people would agree that the USA version of Super Mario Bros. 2 is the odd one in the series. The game itself changes from jumping on Goombas and Koopas in the first game to picking up vegetables and enemies in the second game. Even with the different game mechanics, Super Mario Bros. 2 was well received with over 7 million copies sold worldwide. But what many people never expected to do in Super Mario Bros. 2 is to have the ability to transfer their father's soul into the game. Crucis Mortem is a Mario horror game that was created by WhiteVoid on December the 17th, 2022. But in this video, we're going to talk about the new demo that was released on December the 6th, 2024, due to this version having more of a story that we can follow. Before I begin talking about Crucis Mortem, I have to give you a disclaimer that I will be spoiling the game, and I recommend you try the game out first before watching this video. I will leave a link to the game in the video's description, and once you're done playing it, we can continue on with the story of Crucis Mortem. When you boot up the game, you get a message saying that this game is a demo and the game may change some things around in the final project. The next screen shows a warning of what will happen in this game, and if you're not okay with the content, then you should turn off the game while you still can. After pressing enter, we get treated to an animated logo of WhiteVoid Games before being booted to the title screen. Click play, and the game opens up with a tutorial to get you familiar with the controls for the game you're about to play. They're pretty much the same controls as the original Super Mario Bros. 2, movement, jump, pull up a vegetable, run, and perform a super jump. Once you're familiar with the controls, the screen fades to black before transitioning to a desktop menu. Here you can see multiple folders, 2 image files, an MP3 file, a game called Millie's Nightmare, an emulator, and this talking flower in the bottom right corner. We will explore this part of the game later, but for now, let's click on the emulator. Go into the emulator and click on the File tab to locate the ROMs. Here you can see a ROM file called dumprom.nes and a folder called Trophies. Ignore the Trophies folder for now and click on the dump ROM file instead. Once you click on the ROM file, you are shown the title for Super Mario Bros. 2 for the NES. Everything seems fine until you get to the player select screen. Here, some of the sprites are corrupted except for Luigi's. If you click on anyone else besides Luigi, the emulator crashes and you have to reboot the game all over again. Once you select Luigi, the beginning part of World 1-1 begins normally. You can jump, throw Shy Guys around, and pick up vegetables like you would do in the normal game. But once you go through the door, everything begins to fall apart. The entire level is corrupted, which makes the game somewhat difficult to maneuver, with some of the broken tiles having the ability to block the player. Eventually, Luigi will jump onto an invisible platform before walking through an endless void. If you keep walking forward, Luigi will then encounter a faceless Mario.
What is this? What is this? These arms, these legs, this body. I hate it. I hate it, I hate it, I hate it, I hate it, I hate it. Someone, please, help.
Luigi gets teleported to a level that doesn't look anything out of Super Mario Bros. 2. The sky is black with dead trees lingering in the background, and a pit filled with bloody spikes can hurt you if you fall in. Once Luigi enters the door, you get introduced to 2 paths. If you go left, you will have to jump on a moving platform before coming across a face with sharp teeth and black eyes. If you go right of the door, you could come across a screaming face wall blocking your path. All you have to do is pick up a vegetable and throw it at the wall twice before the face wall dies and Luigi can proceed to the next area of the level. Here, Luigi jumps off onto a wooden bridge before stopping right between 2 pillars.
It's funny. Just when you lost something, you know how valuable it is. Even if they say it to you, you don't fully understand until it is gone. Whatever it takes. I'm going to get what's mine back. Starting now.
The emulator crashes and you get booted back to the desktop again. If you open up the emulator and select the ROM file again, you will notice that the game automatically starts you off at World 1-1 again, but the level picture screen is replaced by a man's eyeball staring at you. When the level begins, Luigi is dangling from chains in an underground cave. Once you free Luigi, you can now explore the level. Go through the door, and you will encounter enemies that definitely do not belong in this game. Yellow corpses that have snake-like legs can throw projectiles at you, red corpses can jump all over the place, and shy guys with creepy masks are littered throughout the level. You are also introduced to a new mechanic where you have to throw vegetables onto a weight scale in order to open doors. While traversing the level, you will come across a certain yellow corpse enemy, but before you can approach it, a mysterious hand comes out of the background and snatches up the enemy. Once this happens, the music stops, leaving you in dead silence. After throwing vegetables onto a weight scale, Luigi goes to the next area where you discover Toad's body lying against a wall. Once Luigi approaches the body of Toad, we get a close-up shot of his face, and this is where the game becomes a point and click. If you move the cursor down, you will notice a key next to his body, which is what we need to open the door on the left. Well, that was pretty easy. All we have to do is just keep moving towards the next door and we can get to the next level. With quick thinking, Luigi grabs a nearby rock and bashes Toad in the face with it. You then have to run as fast as you can so he doesn't catch you. Luigi is able to outrun Toad before quickly grabbing a nearby vegetable and throwing it onto a weight scale to open a gate. Luigi keeps running until he sees what looks to be a red button and he presses it without hesitation. This drops down a gate, blocking Toad from chasing you any further. After a couple of super jumps, Luigi drops down to another wooden bridge where he gets some more text dialogue from Mario.
Hope you're having fun. Because I'm not. Now that I'm discovering what I can do, you can't stop playing, and I can keep you here. So you don't get in my way. I'm really sorry. But if I want to get out, I must do this.
Congratulations! You managed to beat World 1-1, and you have the chance to win some extra health points from a minigame. In World 1-2, Luigi is seen floating in a body of water unconscious. Once Luigi wakes up, we have to swim underwater before jumping onto solid ground. We come across another gate, and we have to pull up a vegetable to weigh down the scale. As Luigi picks up a turnip, he discovers that it isn't a normal turnip. This is where we are introduced to another game mechanic, where turnips can now hurt Luigi if he's holding them for too long. Once Luigi throws the corrupted turnip and goes down a waterfall, we encounter a human face. If we approach the face, we get a close-up shot to reveal the man having vein-like roots pulsating around him. We can't do anything right now, so we'll have to leave and come back to the face later. If we go left away from the face for a little bit, we get introduced to another cutscene. Here we get introduced to a new enemy. This eye monster will be in the background and will open its eyes once in a while to see if Luigi's moving or not throughout the level. If it sees us moving, then the eye creature will attack Luigi. Once Luigi jumps onto a certain area, the game tells us that we need to open these 2 gates. This part of the game is difficult because you have to traverse the level while holding a corrupted turnip while stopping once in a while so the eye monster doesn't see you. If you manage to get the left door open, you will be greeted by an eye orb. If Luigi picks up this eye, the creature will disappear from the background and you have to run quickly because the eye creature will be chasing you. Once you reach the 2 paths again, a gate will close and the eye monster will return to the background. Do the same thing again for the right path by grabbing another bad turnip and traversing the pathway without being seen by the eye monster. When you pick up the second eye orb, the monster will roll its eyes back and disappear. This time, however, the monster doesn't chase you, so you can head back at your own pace. Once you have both eye orbs, go back to where the human face was. Here, Luigi can place the eyeballs back into the man's face and his mouth will open. Once you walk into the man's mouth, Luigi will keep walking through a fleshy corridor, what I assume to be the man's throat, and into the black void. The game then cuts off and we get more text dialogue.
I can still make things right. I still can. This is not how things end for me.
And that's the end of the demo. I have to admit, the game itself was amazing. WhiteVoid introduced a lot of interesting mechanics to this horror game, and many of the enemies kept me on my toes throughout the playthrough. But even with the end of this demo, we aren't exactly done with this game yet. Remember, there are some other files and games that were on the desktop that we never had a chance to talk about yet. So when we come back, we are going to talk about some other things this game is hiding from us. Once we reboot the game again and come back to the desktop screen, we can look at the other files on here. You may remember the trophies file when we booted up the dump rom.nes file from before, so let's take a look at that first. If we start up the emulator and click on the trophies folder, there seems to be some more ROM files to look at. If we open up dump_0.nes, we are shown a hidden level where Luigi has to keep going down until he comes across what looks to be Mario's body all chained up. The screen changes to a close-up of Mario's corpse, and it shows that Mario's face has been hollowed out with his stomach cut open.
It's no longer alive.
The game then crashes and you return to the desktop. If we boot up dump_1.nes, we get another level where Luigi is in a dark cave again. Here, we got 2 pathways to choose from. If we go left, Luigi will come across Toad's body. Thankfully, he won't attack us this time, but if we keep going left, our path is blocked due to a pile of rubble. If we go right, we will come across a door, and Luigi moves on to the next area of the level, where Luigi has to jump across an open gap. After a couple of super jumps, there is a ladder Luigi could climb up before reaching another door. Here, there's a ladder we have to climb, and it takes us outside of the cave. If we keep going right, Luigi will come across Mario sitting at the edge of a cliffside. If we approach Mario, a cutscene will play out.
The very first moment I got a glance at your eyes, I knew something was wrong. The years passed, and I hoped that you could be normal like everyone else. How stupid of me. Now look at you. Oh Lord, you act in mysterious ways. Is this your way of punishing me? Why the hell are you still here? Get out of my sight and never come back.
And after that, we get booted back to the desktop. There is another ROM file in the trophies folder called dump_2 or 3.nes, but we can't access it right now because it's locked. Next to the tomb folder, you will also notice both a locked folder called Liberation Day and My Stuff. If you open up My Stuff, you are introduced to multiple JPEG images. The first one is called concept_1.jpg, where it shows a sketch of some type of video game. In the next text file called concept_2.jpg, we see a creepy sketch of a little girl with her mouth being nothing but sharp teeth and black eyes. The text written in the upper left corner says, "His vision of me." For concept_3.jpg, it's just another sketch for the same video game. If we click on concept_him1.jpg, we get a sketch of a man being crossed out with the words "too muscular" being written on the side. Clicking on him_final.jpg will show us another sketch of the same man, but less muscular. As for decor.jpg, it's just a sketch of a potted plant. If you look to your left, we see an image file called 23/12/2005/8_23.png. Clicking on this file will bring up a photo of what looks to be a forest. Sadly, the photo is way too bright to make out anything. I did try to lower the brightness to make out some trees and what looks to be a hill, but that's all I got with this photo. If you click on naive.jpg, the file will show a sketch of the Mario creature from the game with the words "Adore his naivety" written on the side. Go into the audio file .mp3 and clicking on it, you will be able to hear this. It sounds like someone is walking through a forest. Perhaps this audio could be tied with the photo from earlier. Once you have checked out all the files on the desktop, we can now see what this Millie Nightmare game is all about. Clicking on Millie's Nightmare will open up to show a game demo. The demo begins by showing you controls and what to do in the game. The game begins with your character moving around trying to find all of the notes and keys while fighting off the monsters. When you come across the first note, you can read what it says.
Today, he yells louder than usual. I don't like it when he yells, no matter what I do. He always yells at me. Why does he have to be like this? I just want everything at home to be quiet. Is that too much to ask?
Come across the second note, another message is written on it.
I wanted to keep sleeping, but now I have to go with him to that boring place like every Sunday. I'm gonna miss you, bed. Stay right there until I'm back, okay?
While wandering the house, you will come across the third note.
I found a little rat outside.
If you search each dresser, eventually you'll find a key that you can use to open a locked door, and you can find the last note in there. Well, so that's what happened to the rat. Once you have found all 4 notes, the demo ends and you can exit back to the desktop. With all of the stuff that this demo has to offer, there is still so much more that hasn't been explained in detail. So I will try my best to explain the story of Crucis Mortem and what exactly is going on. I'm going to address the elephant in the room and talk about the game's title. If you're wondering what Crucis Mortem means, it's Latin for death on the cross. Now, Latin isn't just a language that people use in their everyday life. Latin is usually spoken by Catholics. So it seems that Crucis Mortem is tied to religious ideologies. If you take a closer look at the creature that possesses Mario, you can see that the Mario hat emblem is replaced with an upside-down cross, showing that the entity that has taken over Mario's body is a demon. Now the question is, who is the demon? If we go back to those images in the My Stuff folder, you will start to figure out that those image files are concept art for the Millie's Nightmare game. The girl, in concept_2.jpg, could be Millie herself, and the sketch of the man in him_final.jpg is her father. The notes in Millie's game seems to talk about how her father's abusive. Every day in her household, he would always yell at her no matter what she did, and force her to go to church with him every Sunday. It's unknown why Millie's father resented her, but if we look at the dialogue from dump_1.nes, the father goes into details about how he knew something wasn't right with Millie the moment she was born. He had hoped Millie would have grown up and become normal, but from what Millie did to the rat in the fourth note, I guess her father should have known better. Millie's father kinda reminds me of Margaret White from the Stephen King novel Carrie. Margaret White was a religious fanatic who would abuse her daughter by locking her in a closet every time Carrie sinned to pray for forgiveness. It seems the father himself was a religious fanatic who saw Millie as a demon, and he would often abuse Millie by yelling at her every chance he got, because in the father's eyes, Millie wasn't a normal child who didn't have the same passion for religion as he did. The entire demo of Millie's nightmare is a representation of how the dad sees Millie. Throughout the game, the dad would be yelling at Millie while walking around the house trying to find the keys and notes. It's possible that Millie made this game to cope with the trauma she endured during her childhood. But what about the demon that has taken over Mario's body? What does he have to do with Millie? If we go back to the picture of the rat, it seems that Millie might have a dark secret. Millie may have started practicing dark magic, or gotten into dealing with satanic rituals to do something horrible to her abusive father. It's possible she was able to transfer her father's soul into Mario, which explains why Mario isn't happy with his body. It also explains why the ROM folder is called Tomb. These ROM files are what's keeping the father's soul trapped in the game. The forest photo itself might have been where Millie dumped her father's body at. The MP3 audio file could have been a recording that was taken by accident on someone's phone while they were in their pocket. As for the date of the photo that was taken, it took place a day before Christmas Eve. But that's all I got for this photo right now, since this game is still in development. But who exactly is the person who started up the computer and is playing the game? Well, you might be looking through the eyes of someone who might have picked up this computer from Millie by accident. Since this game is based off Sonic.EXE story elements, I would say that you might have bought this computer from a garage sale, or someone might have sent it to you in the mail. It also explains what happened to both Millie and her father. It's possible that the ritual went wrong and both of their souls are now trapped in this corrupted Super Mario Bros. 2 game, with the dad possessing Mario while Luigi might be the soul of Millie, and you, the player, have to figure out a way to free both of them from their own version of hell, before it is too late for both of them. I recommend you take this theory with a grain of salt. The game itself is still being developed, so it will take some time for WhiteVoid to fully flesh out this game's story since he's working on both Crucis Mortem and another horror game called Left Behind. I guess we'll see what happens to this game in the future, but for now, we can only speculate what this game's story will be. There is still the question of what is in the Liberation Day folder, and as well the other ROM file, so perhaps we can finally open them up once the game is fully developed. There is also the unanswered question of who Toad represents, or if he has anything to do with both Millie and her dad. But until then, we can only theorize and speculate what kind of story Crucis Mortem is trying to tell, and see what will happen once this game is completed.